So, hello, everybody. I am so excited to bring you this amazing woman. I had the opportunity to meet her this past weekend when I was in Dallas, Texas, at our 20-year anniversary convention, which was mind blowing. But my discussion with Maureen was equally as mind blowing. So I asked her to please come on and share her experience and a little bit about her life and her health and well being. And I think you're going to find this information to be intriguing, interesting, and you more and Maureen, you'd probably say, and you got answers. So I'm really excited to hear you share your story. So with that, please introduce yourself. Let everybody know where you're from, what you do, and then give us that snapshot of what life was like prior to being introduced to this light technology.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Laura, for having me on, first of all. It was a pleasure meeting you in person. Uh, I I am Maureen Farrington, and I live in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. I just turned 60 years old in August, so that's huge. Uh, but I want to take you back 31 years. 31 years ago, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I had a 2-year-old son and a 5-week-old daughter. And after I had my daughter, I started getting pins and needles on the left side of my body. And I had had a C section for both of the children. So I didn't have that with my son. And I thought, what is going on? Did he cut like a nerve or something? So I called my OB and he's like, no, didn't do it. You got to go see a neurologist. So fast forward, every single day I'm losing more and more of my left side. Pins and needles. It felt like I had a girdle on my across my stomach and my back, and I could draw a line straight down, all the way on the left hand side and all the way down to my toes. Was just pins and needles and weird feeling. The fatigue was overwhelming. I could barely hold my 5-week-old daughter. And it was just getting worse every single day. So the first neurologist told me there was nothing wrong with me. I was like, whoa, okay, well, it feels like something. Well, 5 years prior to me having children, I was diagnosed with carpal tunnel in my right hand. I was a travel agent at the time. I didn't think anything of it, but that doctor that diagnosed me with the carpal tunnel was a neurologist. So I called him up. I'm like, hey, can I come see you? Like, this is really funky, though, whatever's happening to me. And so he brought me in. He did a bunch of tests on me. It was 4th of July weekend, I remember. And he didn't get in touch with me the Friday of my test. So that Tuesday, he called me and he said, tomorrow, now, mind you, I had just taken 5 weeks off to have my daughter. I ran my own family childcare center. So I had children with me all the time. And he said, well, you need to take a few weeks off. You need to come into the hospital, be here tomorrow morning, and we're going to put you on some intravenous prednisone. And I said, well, what's wrong with me? He said, oh, don't worry. You just have, love that, just have inflammation in your central nervous system. That's all. We'll give you some prednisone. You'll be fine. I was like, oh, huh, cool. And calling all my friends, my parents, like everything's going to be good. Well, fast forward to that Thursday morning, he tells me that I have multiple sclerosis. Never heard of it before. And he says, oh, don't worry. I said, just give me all the information you can get me. Well, he has me on a high dose of prednisone, sends me home the next day from the hospital to a visiting nurse. And I was just freaking out. I couldn't stand it. So it was really my choice to just say, no, I don't want these drugs. And they said, well, if you don't do what we tell you to do, within 3 years, you will be in a wheelchair being spoon fed. Your lesions on your brain are that severe. And I said, whoa, okay. So I better look at this thing up. What do I have here? My mom was a hypochondriac, so we were always at the doctor's whenever we coughed. Well, for some reason, I chose not to follow that protocol. They wanted me to get on this clinical study for this brand new drug called betaseron, cost $1,000 a month, and I said nope, all good. So what I did end up doing, I got a book by this Dr. Roy Swank, and I did, followed his protocol. It was low-fat diet for multiple sclerosis patients. I learned all the supplements and vitamins that I was lacking, and I started exercising again. Well, within 2 months, I went from a size 13 down to a size 4, and I had my life back. I was feeling on top of the world. I was running my family childcare center. Everything was great. Well, that following February, breaks on, everything comes back. But now it's in my legs, both my legs. I'm losing the use of my legs, and I'm seeing that wheelchair coming. I like scared. I got now a 7-month-old and a 3-year-old, and I went back on that regimen and started doing it, and I started feeling a little better, not much. But then I heard of this ancient form of it's an ancient art called apitherapy. It's using the use of live honeybees to sting yourself, and the venom of a honeybee is one of the strongest anti-inflammatories there is. Well, I learned through a couple of people that was doing the treatment, that this one lady was sent home to die, and with multiple sclerosis, and within 2 years of stinging herself up to 60 honeybees at a time, she was then walking with a cane. So I chose to do this therapy. Well, lo and unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize how powerful the venom of a honeybee was, but they started stinging my legs, and within minutes of them stinging my right leg, I could stand on my right leg again. And then,
Okay, wait a minute. I gotta ask, I don't mean to interrupt, but I gotta ask you this question. What did that feel like?
well, if you ever got stung by a bee,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I
hurt.
can't even fathom
It
this.
hurt. So they stung me 3 times. Well, just real quick, my best friend at the time's husband was a beekeeper, and we lived
Okay.
in the town of Hudson, Massachusetts. And he would come over every other day to do this protocol on me. So we started with stinging, first 3 stings on my toes, and then 2 behind each ankle. That was the first session. And the heat that came up my right leg was absolutely amazing. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna work. I know it is. So 2 days later, they sting my left leg, and the same thing happens. Within 10 weeks, I walked a 7.3-mile MS walk with both my children. So I was like, oh my gosh. So for the next, I was on Unsolved Mysteries. You can look it up in 1997. Just look up honeybee venom and multiple sclerosis, and I'll be there. I have really short hair like yours. Anyway, so I did this for 27 years. I stung myself with live honeybees 3 times a week, 8 to 12 stings at a time. And to me, that was just the way my life was. I mean, I fit it in. It was, I still ran my family child care center for 22 years, and still doing this. And yeah, it was at times sometimes difficult, stinging my spine on either side. You would sting down my spine, or I sting the inner or outer pants seam of my legs, or my arms, wherever I could put the venom. I just wanted that venom, and it gave me a lot of energy, I'll tell you. So fast forward, got a divorce, and things happened, and I wasn't stinging myself as regularly, but I was still doing good. Well, at the time, my 28-year-old son starts losing his vision, and we don't know why. So a couple of years of back and forth to Mass General Hospital, trying to figure out what's going on with him. We finally get a diagnosis of leukodystrophy, and they said he's going to fail fast. He's not going to be here very long. So I was a mess. I mean, I couldn't do it. My whole MS just started raging back. I had pins and needles, the fatigue, the depression. I couldn't talk without crying. My boy, what am I going to do? Right? And so I was sitting at Mass General Hospital. I remember this day, and I hadn't been able to sting myself really, because all the focus was on my son, and what are we going to do, and how am I going to help him? So I was sitting at Mass General Hospital, and my phone rings. No, and my phone beeps, or whatever. I get a text from Linda Ty. And Linda Ty has been a dear friend of mine for years. And we hadn't talked in about 8 months. And she says, Maureen, remember when you once told me that if your MS got really bad, you would do anything, to get the money to do stem cell injections? And I said, oh, yeah. I said, and guess what, Linda? I said, my life is really bad right now. I said, Mick got a really bad diagnosis and I'm a mess. And she says, well, you're not going to believe what landed in my lap. And I said, okay, share. What? She said, these little patches, Maureen, they're like a side of a quarter. And they reverse your stem cells. They activate your old stem cells. And she says, I'm really new. I don't know much about it, but I just want to tell you about it. And she says, where are you? I says, I'm at Mass General Hospital in Boston. She's in Natick. We meet halfway. She gives me 5 patches and we go home. It's in the afternoon. She told me to wear it the next morning and to wear all 5 of them and see how I feel. I said, okay. Now, mind you, I can talk without crying. I've got my little granddaughter with me. I have my son. What am I going to do? I'm crying hysterically, trying not to still live life. So I wake up the next morning, I put this patch on where she told me to, go back to bed. Like 20 minutes later, I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I in bed? Like, this is ridiculous. We got this. I did this for my own self for 27 years. I handled my own MS and it was dormant. We beat the odds. I can help my son beat the odds as well. And I don't know where all this was coming from. So
isn't that amazing? I know exactly what you're talking about because of my own experience. You start making choices and changes driven by, at the moment, you don't know what, be it intuition, be it the divine, be it whatever. You just find yourself doing this.
Yeah, I mean, it was really well. And I started cleaning the house and preparing breakfast. I'm like, oh my God, where'd this energy come from? Where'd this mental clarity come from? Like, totally, I was just out of it and I was like, oh my gosh. So I got up Linda. I said, I don't know what's happening. I said, but I feel great. I said, I have so much energy and my mental clarity. I said, I can talk without crying. This is huge, Linda. I don't know what these are, but you got to get me on board. You got to get me some of these. And then I tried them for a
Now,
month.
how many days? Let me interrupt. So
Yeah.
Linda gave you 5, and I want to clarify for our guest here that you didn't put all 5 patches on. You wore one
I
patch
put one patch where she told me
for
behind
every day. So 5
patch.
days in a row. When was it the first day that you went, oh my gosh, the mental clarity, the energy, the what day was that?
Oh, that was day 1, like within 20 minutes
Oh, wow.
of
Okay.
putting it on. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Which then brought me to remember way back when I got stung for the first time, how within, minutes that warmth came up my body. So I knew that this was going to work. I just had that same intuition that, okay, this is it. Then I remember calling Linda and saying, okay, this is how I'm feeling. I don't know if it was that day or the following day. But then I was like, we gotta get me some of these, like, so of course money was tight, but we maneuvered and got a silver pack. Actually, I think I went on just as a customer at first. And then I said, okay, I really researched like I did and my whole life about alternative means. And yeah, it's been a great ride. I do use other patches now as well. I did do it for myself, X39 for a month, and then I got my son. And I also met Marcy months within Marcy Preble months within starting. She came to Massachusetts, and I learned that there are a few others that I should be on. And so, I started on those, and I got my son on them. He now it was diagnosed definitely with multiple sclerosis as well, and that was about two and a half years ago. So we now know what we're dealing with. Okay, and he was walking with a cane. His affected his vision, and they said that there's nothing we can do. It's too far gone. We can't even do like laser surgery or anything on him. It's just too far gone. The lesions on his front lobal are just, way too many. Well, I'm pleased to say to this day that he is now walking without his cane, and he's, his disposition is just amazing. He's practices magic, so he's a magician. At my 60th birthday party, he went around doing magic to everybody. So it was great. And he's 6'4". I'm 5 feet. He's 6'4". So
Are a little cute, honey. Just, yeah, you're just precious. I love it.
thanks. But yeah, so this light therapy is absolutely mind blowing, and I have helped so many people with various ailments that have come on board, and they hear my story, and it just is amazing. But the one thing I do want to talk about is the Eon Patch. I I found out that the Eon Patch, um, the queen bee lives for the longest, right, of the
Right.
honeybees, and
Correct.
we never knew why, and I was just stinging myself. Well, for 27 years, I was activating a peptide in my liver that is the same peptide that is in the royal jelly that the queen bee eats and lives the longest, and I never researched it to the point of knowing that it was a peptide, and so I am so honored and so blessed for dating.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I mean, it is. I just, yeah. So, Linda Ty, I mean,
You're
indebted
forever
to her
indebted. You know what? We're
forever.
always indebted to that one person that says, listen, I'm using this. I don't know what it'll do for you, but what do you have to lose? Like,
Exactly.
and you know, one thing that kind of rang out with me a little bit, and literally no disrespect to allopathic medicine or Western medicine, however, you know, you reference it, but how many times do people hear there's nothing we can do? It is what it is. This is where you're going. And for us, I feel such gratitude for you to share this because I love people to know that that's not true.
Right.
That's not true because our bodies are made to heal themselves. Let me ask you a question. Tell me
Yeah.
about your son's eyesight.
Um, well, they say he has, it's really weird. They say he has 20/20 in each eye. So if he goes like this, he can see. If he goes like this, but then he has no peripheral vision, right?
Right.
So he can't walk, you know. So, but when they're both together, due to the
Yes.
lesions in his front lobal, it's a blur. But he's able to see things better. It's not completely there.
How long
So,
has he been patching?
probably maybe a year and a half ish.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you know what?
But he's also very quiet and doesn't, so
Yeah.
doesn't speak much. But unfortunately, we can't get a true makeup on his vision because he does have 20/20 in each eye.
Sure.
And so what it is, it's actual neurological. And
Yeah.
we do have an appointment. He's been going to a neurologic orthopedic, no, an
Oh,
eye doctor that works,
ophthalmologist.
ophthalmologist. Yeah. And so, yeah, that,
Well, you and I know that this is about timing. This is about not masking the symptoms that we carry around with us all day, but giving our bodies the opportunity to get to the root of the problem and get back in there and repair and restore because the body is made to do that. We just lose the ability as time goes on or as we age or when specific things arise, right? There's
right.
an imbalance.
And that's what I love about these patches because they work with the body's I mean, natural
Natural.
healing, natural healing ability in our bodies to heal itself without the use of, medication. And that it was one of the things that was my love. And they've allowed me to have an active lifestyle
So
again.
tell me about your lifestyle now. Tell me about you have a physician that shares with you if you don't do what I ask you to do, you're going to be in a wheelchair in 3 years for the rest of your life. And we all know what path that can go down. We don't need to run through that. Here you are at the age of,
60.
and what does your life look like? How do you feel? Share that a little bit.
Uh, I'm so active. I'm very, very busy. People often say I live like a bee, like a worker bee, because I'm like, so I get up, I go to the gym first thing, work out, then have meetings all day. Have my granddaughter, she's 7 years old, and get to play, run around with her. There for my son, due to his vision, he's he had to make his dinner and doing whatever he needs, and of course he can't drive. Um, so I'm busy doing all of that. But yeah, I just run a full life, and I have an amazing new love in my life. It's been a year, a year ago.
That's
He's a great
fabulous.
support, and he really is a phenomenal guy, and very supportive of me. He wears his patches every day. He had actually psoriatic arthritis, and he's up on the top of a roof today at 66 years old, roofing. So
Wow,
yes, he's
that's
also
amazing.
loving the patches as well. Yes.
So let me ask you this, because I know a lot of people are going to watch this because of your story, and that's massive. And congratulations. And thank you for listening to Linda.
And one of the quick things I want to say is thank God for my honeybees. Honeybees, actually, they only live between 6 to 8 weeks, so they have a short lifespan. And I had a protocol that I always would thank them for giving up their life for my life. We did it with my children. We had this little testimonial thing with the honeybees, and I just absolutely adore the honeybees. I'm so grateful for them for all those years, and now I get to save the honeybees. And thank you, David Schmidt.
Right? Isn't Oh, I love that you said that. And let's be honest, it is so much more comfortable to take the backing off of that little quarter-sized patch and place it on your body without being stuck and go about your day. Let's
Right.
let's talk about the little things. So obviously you have an amazing energy. You're an energizer bunny, or what you're going to like to say, a buzzing bee, which I just love that. But um, you know, being as busy as you're doing and being involved in the things that you're involved with, that doesn't take away the maybe the stress of things. Or do you feel like, since you're on this regimen now with the patches, that your stress levels of go 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 are in a more uplifting way, a more relaxed way? You're kind of taken out of that fight and flight mode, and you're able to go through your day with a little bit more of ease and calmness, which has got to take you into the evening of, are you sleeping better than you've ever slept before?
Oh yes, I remember that first night after I wore that patch. I slept through the night, and I just had never really. It had been years.
Never
I
really
had a
done
good
that.
night. Yeah,
Right.
it had been years. But no, just what you said. Like uh, the stress level. It's just, it's okay. We got
Kind of
this.
hard. It's kind of hard to articulate, isn't it?
Um, yeah, I try and say, is it my mood? Is it just overall vitality? Like I just feel good every day.
Right.
Um, and I want to share that goodness with everybody. Like I try. And my goal is to reach 1,000 families this year, between September and next September, and
I
I'm
love
doing
that.
pretty good. I'm talking
Good for
to
you.
as many people as I can, and trying to bring people to health and wellness. To me, it has been my lifestyle for all these years, and now seeing my son become ill
It's
was a
heartbreaking.
testimonial to what I had done for all those years,
Yeah.
and why am I why aren't I doing what I did for me all those years with my son? And so now we are. And these supplements that have just come out, wow,
Oh,
I feel amazing
you're
on the
incredible.
supplements. Yes.
You're incredible. That's another interview we need to do. But I can't thank you enough. I feel people are going to hear this and they're going to know that they have answers, or at least a space to go to and have questions. So if any of you who are watching this, please reach out to me. We're going to make sure that we answer the questions for you. If you want to talk to Maureen,
Oh,
I
yes,
know
please.
she would
Share
be
my
more
number.
than happy to have a discussion with you about this. But Maureen, you've kind of blown me a little bit away. I know we talked when we were in Dallas, but we're all going in just crazy fun directions. And I learned more today than what I even learned when we chatted. And, you know, wow. And I am grateful that you came here, but I am more ecstatic for the fact that you've gotten your life back. And I
Yeah.
think that's the big thing here.
It's time freedom, a lot of time freedom for me,
Yeah.
to wake up and put a couple of patches on me and then go and
It's
start
so
my
easy.
day. Yeah. And it's great. And I am there if anybody, after I had done the segment on unsolved mysteries in 97, I got calls from all over the world from people, and I was happy to help with any way I can. So if anybody has somebody that they need me to just talk with and tell them my story. I'm in the process of writing my book, Blessed
Good
with
for
MS.
you.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm a firm believer that things happen to us, not to us, but for us. And I can say that probably one of my biggest life lessons, and I'm kind of thinking you might agree with me here, is things happen to us. We get to decide how we handle and move forward with that. But I also feel like it's a way of being prepared and have the experience to be able to, I don't want to use the word deal, I feel like that's heavy, handle
Yeah, that's a good one.
situation that's coming our way that we don't know. Your son, for example, you experienced these things. Had you not experienced these things, you would have not even known
Right.
in a manner to help him. And I really want people to know that things are not happening to you, they're happening for you. And we just have to find the right way. And I think
And the right choice.
ways are the best way. Nutraceutical ways are the best way when we think about our health, in my opinion. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate you for coming here today and sharing your story with, I know thousands of people are going to see this, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Well, thank you for allowing me to share.
Okay,
It's been a
so
pleasure.
yeah, I know. So you guys, I know this has been amazing. Please feel free to share this with those that you love. Let them know that there's answers with regardless of what they have going on. And Maureen, I hope you have the most amazing, blessed weekend. And I can't wait to see you again.
Thank you. Me too.
All right, love. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.